Get comfy. What's up? Episode 4, right? All right. Before I get into who I'm going to be talking to and all that stuff, couple things. For one, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means to me from the ones of you that subscribed and downloading every Friday. I'm going to do my best to keep it going. I'm in it now. It started out something that was going to be me being like having a creative outlet, and now it's become so much more. I'm learning a lot with this, and I'm going to try to keep it going. Okay. Secondly, I've already gotten a couple messages about language being used on the show. Sorry, not going to change that. I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to censor the people that have come to give up their time to talk to me. It's just not going to happen. So deal with it. Thirdly, I'm going to have some guests that do recovery their own way, and I respect them for it. Nobody should be telling anybody else on how to do their recovery, on how to live their life while in recovery. Nobody has any business to tell you or me or anybody how they should do their recovery. If you were an alcoholic and you haven't drank in years, but every now and then you smoke weed, you're still sober to me, because that was not your downfall, your drug of choice. That wasn't what put you at rock bottom, right? Now, there's also a point, it is a dangerous game, and I understand that. If someone's not clean and sober and decides to go a different route with it, it's on them. And if they fall, they fall. They'll learn. Everybody has to learn through this themselves. Nobody should be judging anybody. It is only up to you to decide the path you take for your recovery, and your success is up to you. There isn't a right way. There isn't a wrong way. There's only the way that works for you. Don't let anybody take that away from you. I completely respect and admire anybody that's on this show. Anybody. I may have known them for years. I may have just met them that day. But if somebody's willing to come and share their experience and share what keeps them going, that should be commended and celebrated, not brought down. No, I do understand that this is the internet, and the internet is stupid and fucking idiotic and opinionated and a haven for trolling. Nobody's going to get slammed for coming up here and opening themselves up to share things. Okay? You're safe, and I appreciate you. Now for episode 4. I was excited about this episode. I had Kelly, and I'm going to butcher Kelly. I had Kelly Murlenin, Gray. Murlenin. Yeah. Gray on the show. Kelly I've known since the day I got out of treatment. She'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I've admired this person in my top 3 favorite human beings in the recovery community, day in and day out. And she'll talk about it. She has always been there for anyone that needed it. She'll talk more about it, but I completely admire Kelly. I love the person she is, and I love what she does for the recovery community. So I hope you enjoy this. Take it easy. I think with like new relationships and new love, there's always a thing that you want to like test the boundaries, see because you don't really believe, like, I didn't believe, like, when I met Robin, that a lady like that I'm not just saying this for cameras or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she's a fucking saint.
Yeah.
Like, I've never met somebody that has that kind of empathy. And, she has addicts in her family. She understands, like, my background.
Yeah.
But I totally pushed the boundaries. Like, I was falling for her so fast that I almost broke up with her. Self-sabotage. And then the week before, like, I was like, all right, we'll see how this week goes. That day I went over, she told me she was pregnant. And I'm like, I fucking love this woman. What are you doing? Now we're going to have a child? You never thought that was going to happen.
Right.
I mean, I had a doctor saying, Billy, there's nothing coming out. You're not ever going to have a kid. Fuck, he was wrong. But yeah, we fixed this thing up, and Robin's all about nature. Like, she loves the birds and the bees and the flowers. Like, if I spray an anthill,
oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Don't kill a spider either. This one right here has been sitting there for a month, and it came down the other on Meredith when she was sitting right there. It won't now. It was another one. Like, I took care of that one. But yeah, I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
You were not saying anything else about anybody that's been on here. But when I started this almost a year ago and been planning it for a year because I was broke as fuck and had no money, I had that camera, and then I found these broken phones and goes, holy shit, I can do this. You were the main person. I think I asked you about a year ago. And you're like, yeah, cool. And then I didn't do it because I didn't have the equipment. But you have always been just mind-blowing to me. I don't know how you do what you do, for one. I've never seen... There's been people where I've been just like, holy shit, that person is about to lose their shit. And then you enter a room and they instantly calm down. I doubt it's fear. Like, I don't think they think you're going to fuck them up. But I think it's just like, okay, Kelly's here. Everything's cool. Like, you just have that. Even when I was in IOP, you just had that thing where I would come out of a room after just hearing all this stuff and like trying to process things, and I'd hear you joking around. I'd be instantly calm. I was just like, and I'm just amazed on how, I mean, you're pretty much like the king or queen, excuse me, of like this scene.
Yeah.
And you're so humble about it. Like, do you realize like, yo, this is my shit. This is my turf.
No.
No?
No.
I don't know. Like, first of all, like, what was your date?
My clean date?
Yeah.
January 9, 2007.
Holy shit. That is badass.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I was doing in 2007.
It was a long time ago.
It was. I mean, I was an adult.
Yeah.
Because I'm old, but where was I in 2000? Oh, I was in Myrtle Beach. Yeah, getting my first DUI in 2007. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And have you been here the whole time?
No, I was up in Massachusetts, trying to get down here because my son was down here. My mom came and took my son.
Yeah.
And said, get your shit together. And it took me a year, and then I decided I was going to get my shit together and went to treatment and found out I was pregnant with my daughter. Yeah. So, like, my son and my daughter were my kind of driving force, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because I was pregnant and I went to treatment 17 times, and every time, 16, the 16th time I was pregnant, but every time it was always, I couldn't get into treatment for crack, because that's what was my drug of choice.
Yeah.
So I'd do a bag of heroin so I could get in and get the methadone and get the nod.
Right. Yeah.
Every addict, and then I would leave there but so in 2016, 2017 2007 when I came into treatment, they told me I was pregnant and you have to be on methadone maintenance. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just a crackhead. And they're like, you've been here 16 times and you've got methadone all this time. So we're going to put you on methadone maintenance. So I had to be on methadone maintenance with my daughter.
And that was it?
And that was it. Yeah.
Was it the pregnancy that you're like, fuck this, I'm done?
No, it was like I was trying to get down on my son.
Yeah.
You know, like I raised him from the time he was born. Mom took him at 8. And now it's like time for me to get myself together. And I had lost a lot of children along the way. Like I had 2 sets of twins that were stillborn. Mm-hmm. And then my first daughter was stillborn. So when I was pregnant with Lacey, which is my last one, she, I just didn't even, I didn't pretend I wasn't pregnant until I hit 7 months, and then I was.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, Mom, we have another baby coming. And she came a month later. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but because of the destruction of my past, I actually, DSS got involved and took her and told me I needed to get into a program.
Yeah.
And I went to a halfway house pregnant. No, well, after her, I went to a halfway house. I had to get into a halfway house, and that was difficult because I had to find one that had babies and methadone.
Yeah.
And so I got into one, and they said I would be able to have her back in 2 weeks after if I got into this program. So I got into the program, and I was able to get her back in 3 weeks. And is this what you want me to tell you?
Yeah, you're good.
And then, so I had her back. But, you know, I had Section 8, I had food stamps and cash assistance, like, ever since my son was young.
Yeah.
So all these things I had for free, right? Medicaid, everything. Mm-hmm. And so DSS called me 3 weeks later on the phone and told me that my daughter was HIV positive. And I was like, what? And because they had custody of her, they wanted me to bring her back 45 or hour and 45 minutes back into my hometown to have her tested.
Yeah.
But my counselors went above the head, and I was able to have her tested the next day. She was negative. And
how did they fuck that up?
I think that one of the workers was trying to get Lacey into one of her friends.
Got you.
So it took me another 8 months. Well, what happened was the guy I was seeing, because I've been kicked out of every program for everything.
Right.
The guy that I was seeing showed up at the hospital, and I got kicked out for pairing. So I was going to like a 3/4 halfway house, and DSS said, nope, I'm coming to take the baby. And so after that, it was like balls to the walls. I had to like do my own drug test, pay for my own drug test, pay for my own rides out, like buses to go out to see her. They didn't make it easy for me. And at times I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give up. Maybe she's in a better place. But it just made me fight a little harder.
Right.
Yeah. And it also taught, like, so I didn't have her for 8 months. So I was able to get a job in cleaning toilets and detox. And then I moved up to being a tech in a locked women's facility. So that was in New Bedford, Mass. Yeah.
Wow.
And then once I got Lacey back, because my whole goal was to come down to North Carolina to be with my son, you know.
And your mom's down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. She took my son and was like, get your shit together, and then you can come down. So it was about 2.5 years before I got my shit together and was able to come down.
You know, this is the first time I've known you I've been sober for over 7 years. And I met you right out of treatment. And this is the first time I've ever heard any part of your story.
Really?
Like, I knew you were a badass. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I knew you were a badass. But that is like major bad assery to be there and now be here. And like I was saying earlier, like you help so many people just without, like, I don't know how you do it. I mean, I'm also a selfish dickhole. I really am. But I blame that on being a prancing little performer all my life. Yeah, I had no idea. Like, I knew like when I thought about it, I was like, I wonder what Kelly's backstory is. I'm like, I bet she fucking like phoenixed out of that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. I started using at 12. You know, drinking, smoking pot, acid, and that was like. So everything I did, I had to sell.
Right.
You know, that's what they said in school. Like, I could sell the Brooklyn Bridge, my mother thought I was going to sell houses. I sold drugs. But like the last 3 years of my using was selling drugs and selling women.
Damn.
So I had to get high somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we always find a way.
Yeah. So,
You know, but I mean, you found a way.
Yeah.
Like for whatever drugs. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that, I mean, I hate the joke, but I'm sure the money was good. Like,
I could have bought a house
That's
in
what I'm
cash.
saying.
Yeah. Like when I went through my step work and like we had to do the financial part, I was like, wow. Because I sold weed. I sold crack and I sold weed.
yeah.
And I was just like, I smoked a lot too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
That's what I was saying earlier. My thing now is like my jealousy.
Yeah.
And like like money is such a struggle to me. Cause I mean, I've worked my ass off, but now it's like I got a decent job and I got 3 kids and my wife, and like it's still like, you know, I paid the bills and then there's like grocery money left.
Yeah.
So when I hear like could have bought a house, first thing in my head is like, yo, I wonder where I can find some rock. And like,
I know.
does anybody still smoke crack?
Right.
Like
right.
I haven't heard it in a while.
I have heard it, but you know everything's meth and ice and fentanyl. It's crazy, but yeah, no. I thought about it in recovery. Like early on in recovery, I was like, yo, I'm in a halfway house. I'm like in the worst part of the area in my hometown. I'm like, wonder if I could sell crack out of the back of this. And I'm like, Kel, you know, if you start selling crack, they're gonna start knocking the door down at 2:00 in the morning for a 20-piece at the halfway house. So
did they ever did the cops ever be like, hey Kelly, hey, we know you.
Oh yeah.
We're watching you.
Oh yeah.
So they knew you were in a halfway house too.
No, before that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I had the police watching my house. I had an FBI agent come to my house, and so his name was the same as my mother's name, but the first name spelled differently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, come to find out it was my mother's cousin or something. But yeah, so when I got clean, I had Section 8, I said.
Yeah.
When I got clean and I went to go back into Section 8 and say, hey, this is what's going on. It was 3 months later. Like, you were a week away from getting busted. So.
Holy shit.
So I got clean at the right time.
Yo, that is a higher power going, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love them little pushes when you don't know they're happening.
Yep.
So then you moved back down here.
I moved down here, yeah.
With your son and with Lacey and your mom. When did you start doing the work that you do now? You fell into it, didn't you? Like, you just one day you were just like, shit, we might as well pay you.
No, I was
Okay.
no, because I worked in a locked woman's detox, right?
Mhm.
It was like they got sectioned there for 30 days. And if they didn't make it there, they get lugged to jail, and they'll have to do the 30 days in jail. So they're picking them up in the middle of the night after like 7 days of partying, and they're coming in just a mess. So like we got to strip them down, whatever. But anyway, I made crap money. I remember calling my sponsor up in my first paycheck, and I was like, yo, I could make this in 5 minutes. And she's like, but can you lay your head down at night and like be okay? And
That's a good point.
do you have everything you need? Not want, need. And I'm like, yeah. Then you're fine. So
Fuck, she's right.
yeah. And I didn't have to worry about the cops busting in my door or
And that just made me realize that I'm all right and I need to quit worrying about it.
yeah, it's like you're all right.
I'm learning something every episode. It never fucking stops.
So when I got down here, I didn't know what I was going to do. And my self-esteem was still kind of low. I was 18 months clean. And I didn't know about the Wilmington Treatment Center, which is literally 7 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
And so I applied for McDonald's, and I got in with McDonald's. And it was terrible.
Oh, yeah. I've worked at
Anybody that
McDonald's.
works at fast food, I think, you guys are amazing.
I only did it so I could steal a box of McRibs. That's it. So I could have them for months after they came back. My roommate told me at the time, I will pay for 2 months of your rent if you can give us a box of the McRib meat. And I'm like, cool. I had it in 48 hours after stopping, and I never went back.
Yeah, I got fired. Well, I left twice, and they kept calling me back. And so the last straw was I was sitting there listening to Miley Cyrus, and somebody says, does anybody have a license? and I'm the only one who raises my hand. So they made me go to Carolina Beach to get cups from the other McDonald's. I call my sponsor. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I've got all the cups in the back seat, and she's like, Kel, just go in, drop the cups off, work your shift, and then don't go back. So as soon as I get in, my manager says, do you want to go on break? And I was like, yes, I do. Here's your cups. Bye-bye. And I left. And then I was at a meeting, and I met this guy I don't want to mention any names.
Right,
I don't know. But I met him, and I was telling him what I did up north. And he said, you got to call the Wilmington Treatment Center. So I called the Wilmington Treatment Center, and that's how I started out. I started out at $6.55.
Holy shit.
In 2009.
Doing the same position now?
No, I was tech, then lead tech, and then I was a tech supervisor for like 4 years, but it was really weighing on my recovery.
Yeah.
Because it was 24/7. If there was drugs on the unit, any time of the day I had to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if somebody called out, I was there. So a position in 2014 opened up for me as an alumni coordinator, and it was like free range. It's brand new. You do what you want with it. And so I'm like, cool.
So this is your baby?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Why? And you've done a fantastic, like I've been to other places and talked to people. Like I went to my hometown in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, and I was like, I need a meeting. I can't. Oh, it was when the hurricane hit my house.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to go to a fucking meeting. And I went down there, and it was in a single wide trailer. There was like 6 people there.
Yeah.
One of them I knew. One of them my dad, like he worked with my dad for a long time. And then I knew another kid that I went to high school with. And I knew that. I'm like, man, this kid's gonna end up in a room one day. And he was right there with me.
Yeah.
I didn't expect I would be there too.
Yeah.
You never know. But I was glad to see him. He was doing good. And I was talking to this other guy. And I'm like, what's the community like here? Because I was seriously thinking, I'm like, I might have to move back to Roanoke Rapids. I don't have a house.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it sucks, man. It's us. I'm like, you mean the one town that has the 3rd highest crime rate in North Carolina with drugs and gangs, and this is it?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, this is AA, NA, Al-Anon. We're all in one room together.
Wow.
And I was like, holy shit. Wilmington is like, fuck, you can go to any meeting, and there's going to be at least 20 deep.
Yeah.
You know?
But see, that gives me opportunity to think when you said that. I started a women's meeting at my house when I was in New Bedford, Massachusetts, getting clean.
Yeah.
And before I stopped and moved down here, I had like 20 girls in the house in a 1-bedroom, smoking cigarettes, drinking coffee, loving it. We were working out of the Dr. Phil book. And so every time somebody says like they're in this small town, I'm like, you know what? Get you 90 days and start a meeting.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes sense. Like I actually just talked to that guy that was friends with my dad a couple weeks ago. And I was like, hey, how's it been there? He goes, man, I quit going because they tore down the building on us. He's like, we were meeting on Friday, and then we had one the next Wednesday, and the building was gone when we went back. Wow. The owner didn't even tell us. He was like, so that we don't have one now. He goes, I'm going to Murfreesboro. I was like, damn, dude.
Well, when COVID hit, I got scared to death.
Yeah.
I took 2 weeks off, because I've got asthma, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going on FMLA. And I took 2 weeks off, and of course, watching the news, freaking out, because, you're watching the news. And so 2 days before I was supposed to get back, I said, shut that off. Like, I really need to get in and pray and see, because they want me at the center. And at the center, there was no social distancing.
Yeah.
Nobody was wearing masks, right? So I was like, my decision to go back to work was, I need to go back to work because my people are dying of ODs and suicide.
Yeah.
Not COVID. You know what I mean? So we would have meetings outside. We would meet like 20 deep and sit and tailgate and have lunch. I think that was the tightest alumni group, though, that we had, because it was just us and we were like making it bigger on the outside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were meeting at the park, we were going geocaching, we were having our own meetings outside. Yeah. And it was good, I
always feel like I missed a lot. Like I still feel, with Meredith and her sponsoring and there's so many good and bad. Like for me, like bad because I feel like I missed a huge opportunity to make new relationships in the amazing community we have.
Yeah.
There's things that, I mean, I kind of got turned off from at the beginning because I had like there was Jackie who died like on my 6 months. There was the other 2 people that I was friends with that died. People going in and out, like my whole group of people. I think me and I know she won't mind if I say her name, Phyllis and Michelle. I still know those 3.
Yeah.
And that's where like the other day, like I'll always be there for Michelle.
I know, that was awesome.
I mean, her face when I walked up, I was just like, hey. She was like a kid in a candy store.
I know. I called Rob to find out who showed up because I couldn't be there.
Yeah.
He's like, Billy showed up. I'm like, no way.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. I wish I was there.
I love Michelle so much. Her determination and her strength of whatever setbacks she's had, whatever, that resilience to hop back up, that's inspiring.
Yep. And that's what it is. It's like, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get back up.
Yeah.
And that is true. Like, I've been to 17 treatment centers, same one. I never went anywhere else. But like, I've gotten kicked out for everything. I don't know that I've ever graduated, to be quite honest with you. But
I almost got kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. This skinny boss man guy, hipster guy, I can't remember his name. You know what I'm talking about, is you laughing. I'll make sure the camera's on me for that one. I almost got in a fight with Dodie. So my deal with him, and then I'll get to the good part of what I was talking with Rob. My deal with him is when I played in a band in Surf City, he was there. I got robbed out of that place. Like a bass my grandfather gave me like 3 days before he died.
Yeah.
Another guitar that I had that I was playing. Drugs were starting to pop up every night. I would go to my apartment. People would bust open in my door and party all night long. And then I moved to Surf City and I was living in some little shitty ass little L-shaped room that I had to like go sideways to walk into, and had a little shitty twin bed. Like some of the band members were always there. Dodie was always there. I never did hard drugs. Like I did some.
Yeah.
Like the psychedelics, I mean, that was kind of my thing with drinking. Messed around with some other stuff, but like I kind of saw what it was doing. Like I have family members that are addicts. Like one of them has 15 years sober, and
nice.
I mean, he's doing fantastic. Kids, happy life. His career's amazing, blowing up. But I left that band within 24 hours of notice to go to Myrtle Beach to play for another band who wasn't as good, but packed out the House of Blues every time they played it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll get a little bit extra money. Little did I know that I wasn't going to get paid dick. But I also like met some of the best friends that I'm still friends with.
That's cool.
And the drugs weren't there. It was just so much drinking. And that's where like my alcoholism really took in grip when I left that band, and I was stuck down there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to leave. I love these people. But then when I saw him, like it's always been like it's a PTSD thing.
Yeah.
Like I've never been so betrayed and everything. When he showed up there, my first reaction was like, hey, and then it all came back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you motherfucker. And I had a talk with him about this. We talked probably like right after he moved across the country.
Yeah.
Because he was sending me Facebooks of just like dicks hitting chickens, or
isn't that true?
he was just sending the weirdest. And it wasn't racist. It was borderline. It should have been.
Yeah.
But it was always something to do with a dick.
Yeah.
Always. Whenever I got a message, it's like, oh, Rai sent you this. I'm like, it's just a dick. I don't need to check it.
Right.
I'll see the plethora of dicks he sent in the morning.
Yeah.
But we had a long talk about it, and we hashed it out. And he was like, so we can have a relationship? I'm like, no, probably not. But I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah.
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 But it was and he didn't know that back then. So he was like, here's somebody I can get to. I was trying to work hard in rehab. Like I wasn't trying to, I wanted to make everybody laugh. And then I wanted to go to small group.
Yeah.
Or big group. Was it big group or small group? It's been over 7 years. I don't remember. My counselor there was fantastic. The staff was fantastic. Everybody there was fantastic. Except a few of the patients. I could have done without that. Like the one dude, I woke up in the middle of the night and there was this one guy from a different house in my room getting open my drawer to get my cigarettes and my roll of quarters out of it. And I was like, what the hell? Luckily I had my window cracked. And the guy that walked around every night, he goes, look, man, he goes, I've said I don't think you're going to run, and people try to run, so I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody.
Right.
He was like, I'm going to be walking around that sand tonight and raking it.
Yeah.
This is your one shot. And I'm like, no, I'm not going anywhere, man. He was like, prove it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. But that guy, I yelled, and he just happened to be out the window. Like, that guy was gone.
Oh, gosh.
The next day. But he still stole another guy's watch that night, too, out of our house. But then, like, Ryan was there. He asked to get in my house, and they let him. And I'm like, fuck, man.
You had to face it.
Like, I did, but I didn't want to because I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
You know? And I kind of regret that. Like, knowing what I know now, like, what happened to him and all that. Like, he messaged me a bunch after that. And I just basically muted the Facebook chat. I didn't let him know. Like, I changed my number. Not because of him. Right. Because I had a lot of bill collectors coming. And I didn't want, I don't know, I owed that much money. Sorry. But I kind of regret it. You know, but then again, I didn't do it to him. Right. So, but that's kind of like the good thing about what I was saying earlier about what I'm learning from this is, like, I've been really arrogant about, like, I don't want to drink today. I know I'm not going to drink tomorrow. I don't know about a month from here, a year from here. I don't think so. Right. I don't get complacent, but I'm not worried about myself. Yeah. Does that make sense?
The more time you get.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah. It's just it's like, who was that person? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Now, when I lost my son, that was huge for me. Yeah. Because I always had a reservation. Like, if something happened to my mom, I'm out. You know? And then I lose my son. And I just remember I hadn't been into an NA meeting in years. And I get in there and I stick my hand up and I'm like, I need some experience, strength, and hope. I just lost my son. He took his life last night. And so I just took out the tools that I knew what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Instead of going to a meeting. Yeah. And I got good feedback. And afterwards, somebody was 60 days clean sent me a text because he wasn't able to talk to me at the time. Right. And it was the very thing that I read at my son's funeral. So somebody was 60 days, pulled me through a terrible, terrible point. And I actually read it at his funeral. It was the only thing that I could read. You know what I mean? But it was just crazy, like this circle that comes around. I don't know.
No, you're right.
You know?
You're right.
So, yeah.
I think it's kind of amazing on where we find, and at the timing, where the people, places, things that I got rid of. It's amazing what the new people, places, things that inspire me for today and tomorrow. Yeah. You know, I think my biggest motivation is that 4-year-old little shit in the house. Yeah. And fuck everybody else if they're gonna oh, you can't talk about your kid. It's my kid. I'll say what I want. Yeah. I love her dearly, or I wouldn't even be bringing her up. But I don't ever want her to know that side of me. Yeah. You know. Yeah.
My daughter's never seen that side of me, and she's 17. She's never seen. My son saw me until I was 8. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until I was 8. Till he was 8. He saw a terrible side of me. I mean, he was like my little codependent. Like, Mom, DT's 2 cars behind us. That should have never happened. You know what I mean? But he was the driving force and my daughter for me to get sober, and he saw that. So that's huge. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you. And this is one that some might say is a fucking rude question to ask.
Well, you know me, I love roots, so go ahead.
Why do you do what you do?
Oh my God, why do I do what I do? Because I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pain with it too.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like getting in the trenches with people, and seeing, seeing you,
Yeah.
like you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I saw
Thank
you
you.
broken, and here you are doing it.
Fuck, was I broken?
And that's what I love about my job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is so, and I don't get paid shit. Like, I don't get paid shit.
Right.
I don't. Like,
It's just,
I could probably go wait tables and make way more money than I make doing this.
I hear selling rock.
It's really good.
Really good.
Really good, I know. But I cannot go back to that.
No. We would never want that. I would be so mad.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I have thought about opening up an escort service
Right.
and selling women again.
Look, sex
But
work is real work.
It is.
I got a friend of
It
mine
is.
that does sex work, and I'm just like, you go, you.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
She was like, hey, I need some graphics for my OnlyFans page. I'm like, I got you, homie. No problem. She's like, you want a free month? I'm like, no. Like, I know you. That's
Yeah.
weird. But yeah, sure, throw it out.
And let me just get it straight. So I hustled crack and I hustled women. I
Right.
did not hustle myself.
No, I understand.
And not that I put that down at all. It's just something that I couldn't do. So my mother asked me the other day, I forget where we were. I don't know, but she said to me, didn't you feel bad selling drugs to people? Like, now, did you feel bad selling drugs to people? And I'm like, no, because it would have been my ass if it wasn't the drug.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we do whatever it
Yeah,
takes.
it takes.
And so she was like, I said, I do feel bad. I did sell drugs to a 7-year-old woman and took her sketches for 20s.
Right.
I feel bad about that.
Well,
But, she would have gotten it from somebody else. So
that's kind of where, like, if you hadn't have made the money, somebody else would have. And fuck those other
Right.
dealers. Like,
this is terrible. This is supposed to be my recovery. I'm talking about selling crack.
no, that's the thing. Is I learned in my early recovery that you can't joke about things like that. But I think, me, my life revolves around laughing at myself, laughing about my past, laughing about how much of a grumpy old man I'm going to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm saying 5 years because I already feel old. My doctor told me when I was doing like blood and like the urinalysis, there are things that 44-year-old men have to do. He was like, damn. I'm like, what's that? My blood pressure? He goes, no, that's fine. I'm like, what? He goes, it's kind of like you're 44, but your insides are 70.
Really?
He was like, do you ever drink a lot, do drugs? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, all right. Yeah. He was like, your liver, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't ever go back because
It's all right.
your liver. He was like, you need to be drinking at least a gallon of water every day.
Yeah.
And I still don't do that. I still drink energy drinks. Like it's going out of style.
I know.
The only reason I'm not drinking an energy drink right now is I had to switch ADHD medication. For one, I didn't like it. It was kind of bringing back old feelings. Secondly, you can't find it anymore.
Yeah.
So I made him give me like a non-narcotic version of it. And I don't know, it's not narcotic, but I'm
Is it
awake
working?
all day
Really?
and I'm focused, laser focused. Like I figured out a case at work today that's taken 19 other senior advisors in 6 months. I figured out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hopefully that's just me and not the medication, but
I tried the medication. I was 4 years clean, and my doctor's like, I've always had ADHD, but they never gave me any medicine for it. And when I did, I remember my girlfriend giving me some medicine, and she's bleaching the walls, and I'm watching TV. You know what I mean? Like totally
Right.
calm. And so I was a tech supervisor, and I was having tons of projects to do, and I was getting them done, but it was like deadline done. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I went to my doctor, and they had given me some ADHD medicine that I thought just came out, new stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's not as bad as Adderall or whatever. And
Oh, I'm sure it was just, it's all
I took it, and let me tell you something. I went into work, and people wanting their money and this and that, and I called my boss, and I'm holding onto the chair, and and she calls me, and she probably calls me and said, "I've got to go home. I feel like I've just done a lot of drugs, and I need to go home." And so she's like, "Oh my gosh!" So I never touch that shit again.
Yeah.
I let my squirrels run wild, and that's just me. And
I get it.
my husband gets a little frustrated with me with my squirrels, but he loves me.
He does. I really am so glad y'all found each other.
Yeah.
Like I've always, you've had a lot of shit go on.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of shit go down since I met you, and I was very happy when I saw a picture one day on social, because that's how I'm friends with everybody,
Yeah.
because I'm a hermit.
Right.
I was like, hey, he's a handsome guy. Who's that? That's Kelly. Oh, cool, great. And then I just watched it blossom through pictures and fun, and it's very nice.
Yeah, I didn't think, because before that, I was married to somebody. It was in a club, motorcycle club.
Right.
And that was kind of difficult to maneuver that through recovery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it started getting kind of bad, and I'm just like, well, after I lost my son, I knew, like, I cannot be around any of it.
Yeah.
None of it. Because it's just that one, you know what I mean? So I knew enough to pull away from that whole situation, and with that, I pulled away from my ex.
Yeah.
And then wasn't expecting it, and met this man that, like, saved me, and I saved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's one of us, isn't he?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's all in the family, and that's great.
And he was early on in recovery, and I mean, I met him, so
He was a baby. You were out of the cradle.
Well, a little bit. I don't want to share his story because
that's him.
I don't like if this gets out, but he doesn't. I'm sure he doesn't mind. But it was just by chance. He called me. I was passing out my cards, and he called me and said, "I need help." And he couldn't go to WTC because he didn't have the insurance for it.
Right.
So I ended up trying to help him out with no feelings whatsoever.
Right.
He's a lot younger than me.
Right.
And I'm like, and he just kept on and kept on. I'm like, okay, at least get your 4-step done, and then we'll talk about it.
Right.
But he's not a meeting man.
No.
And some people aren't.
I'm not.
You know what I mean? But man, did he turn his life around. I mean, he went from being on the streets to owning a truck, having a job, having insurance, and pays the bills. We've got 2, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, within 3 years, he has become a big part of,
That's good. He's got 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably going to ask him if he wants to come on. I want to talk to somebody he won't.
No.
I remember the one time I talked to him, he was so nice to me.
Yeah.
Because you were just like, hey, this is Billy. And he's like, cool, Kelly's cool with him. All right. And then somebody else walked up and looked, and I saw him like, he's about to ask that dude what he's looking at. Like, nicest guy. Like, I thought he was super nice. And then like it was like one look. And I was like, he's about to ask that motherfucker what he's looking at. He didn't.
I know. I'm like, I'm at work, honey.
Hell, he was so cool to me.
Yeah.
No, I understand that one too. And I want to talk to more people. Like episode 3 had Mike on it, and he doesn't go to meetings. He used to with his dad. Like him and his dad did recovery together until his dad passed away, and he's kept on going.
Yeah.
A lot of that be motivation. If you ever watch that episode, I'll let him tell the world, but it's not that I'm not against the programs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
I think anybody who gets clean or sober should do the 90 for 90. I did it.
Yes.
Find a home group and do the best you can to stay with it. And then after a certain amount of time, you kind of fall into what works for you.
You do. I tell you what, though, from going from counseling from the time I was 9 years old until finding the program. Now, I mean, I don't do meetings unless somebody's celebrating or we have an alumni event or I need it, right?
Right.
Like, I needed that meeting when my son passed away, and I don't think anybody really knew who I was. Like, hey, haven't been here in like 6 years, but, and so I know when to use it. However, I suggest, like, for me, that works. But doing the 12 steps and really doing them with a sponsor, was way more better than ever sitting down with a counselor and trying to work my life out with a counselor.
Yeah.
And like, and this, the sponsor, hopefully you get a good one, you know, is they're doing it for free.
Yeah.
I got to pay $40 if I want to go see a counselor. You know what I mean?
If you have insurance.
If you have insurance. And so it was really rewarding for me to go through my steps and get rid of resentments and make amends to people. And so, you know, today I still live by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not that I practice and I don't sponsor people, because with where I work, my phone rings 24/7. I mean, my number is all on, but the bathroom, it might be in the bathroom wall. You know what I mean? But like, so.
And I'm sure it's all in a positive way. It's not like for a good time calling.
No.
You're about to lose your shit.
Yeah.
Call Kelly.
and that's what it is. It's like everybody's got my number. You know what I'm saying? So my phone rings 24/7. The night that I lost my son, I had an alumni call me at 2:00 in the morning as I was getting ready to go to bed, and I answered the phone, and she was suicidal. And I got on the phone with her boyfriend, and I said, "Listen, don't tell her this, but please, my son just committed suicide. I need you to, you know, take this very seriously." And so, like, how can I sponsor people when I've got 110 people calling me all, you know what I mean?
You're kind of the scene sponsor.
It's like, you know, I'm not going to take you through the steps, but I'll show you who will.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to you when you're freaking out. And, you know, so.
There isn't, I don't think I've ever met anybody where I've been like, yeah, you know, Kelly. She's like, I've never had anybody go, fuck her. Like, I've never had anybody like, they're like, yeah, I know her. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Like, and it's always been a cool thing. Like, it's when I think of, like, I know if I needed help, I know you're like up one of the people I would call, you know?
Yeah.
And, I don't even know how to, like, without like complimenting you too much. Like, I don't know how to say, like, how amazing the stuff you do and the people that you help. Like, I'm not going to say this is the case, but I can only imagine on how many people were about to take a downturn and then ran into a Kelly or called a Kelly and then pop straight and narrow for, I mean, however long they did or do or still are, but
honestly, I couldn't do it without you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like Phyllis, Michelle, Diana. I don't want to leave anybody out, but you know,
the whole
crew. Like, you know, all I need to do is call on them and say, "Hey, we gotta go. We've got somebody in need," and they're there. I'm not doing it by myself. Like, you know, I've got the alumni giving back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You do have a really good,
and Rob too. Rob is huge. You know, they really care about people, and I mean, we've gone 12 deep to somebody's work, and you know, tried to get them settled into a program. Like, oh, I've got a camper, I've got a cat. Okay, well, we got this all taken care of. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I have that support of the alumni, because I wouldn't have my job if it wasn't. But
it's true.
But
you are the alumni
friendships,
coordinator.
yeah, and the friendships that we make. You know, obviously I can't be friends with them until they have 2 years out of the program. But I have some really strong friends that, like, I watched grow from, you know, from the baby newcomer to, like, the person helping other people now.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
And I'm like, when I'm talking to you right now, I'm like, man, I miss Kelly so much. Like, I need to go around alumni more and be more bigger of a part of it. And it's easy for me to say. And then tonight, after I dump all the footage and I start editing and I go through this whole conversation again and inspired again, I'm like, I'm going to go to the next alumni meeting.
Yes, and you get busy.
And then I get busy, and I've had to really kind of work past, like, a lot of guilt on that, to be like, that's what I was telling Robin. I'm like, I just feel like, and she's like, you know, you can go, right? Like, I'm not fucking keeping you here. Like, you can go anywhere you need to go. You can go. You say you want to go to a meeting, go to alumni, go. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a hermit.
Yeah.
Like, hermits don't leave.
Yeah.
Like,
You show up every once in a while.
I do.
And you got your family. It's so like, when I had, my son was younger and my daughter, she's the mini me, so
Yeah.
it's been a struggle. But like I just remember being like, God, I can't go to a meeting every night. I've got to take care of these kids. I can't be absent. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's just say I did everything I was supposed to do, 4 years in the program, did my steps, twice. It's really funny. Have you done step work?
No.
It is so funny because I was looking at my first step work till like 4 years later step work. And like
Completely
the
different.
first step work was all about me and everything is everybody else's fault but mine.
Yeah.
It was really funny just to look at like the growth that happens. You know what I'm saying?
Terrified of the steps.
Yeah.
Terrified.
A lot of people are.
One, the list you do for yourself.
The character defects or the amends?
Well, I mean, that would take me a year.
But
The amends, like I said this in another episode. Can't think of any. For one, I don't remember
yeah.
if I harmed anybody. My parents were very supportive when I finally told them. I hid it very well for years. No, it's the inventory.
The inventory, yeah.
Yeah, no, God, I would fall off the wagon doing the inventory.
Yeah.
I think
A lot of people get stuck on 4 steps, and then I see them on their 4s because they won't finish it. They
Yeah.
make it harder than what it is.
and I would have to. My cousin told me that he was like, "Man, I spent 3 years on that bitch."
Yeah, you gotta get no, you gotta get off of it.
Yeah,
There's no sitting on that. That's when I see a lot of people relapse and come back.
yeah.
It's like their 4th step. It's like, why are you making it harder than what it is?
Well, he was just saying he didn't want to leave anything out.
Oh, okay. He was really doing it.
Yeah, he was really doing it. Like he was like, every time I'd be like, "All right, I'm ready to." Oh,
Okay, that's good. That's
and no,
really
he's
thorough. Yeah.
strongest dude I know.
Yeah.
With everything that he, I just, I don't know. I don't have a reason.
Yeah.
I don't have a legitimate reason. I can give you a bunch of
Yeah.
reasons all
Yeah.
day, but
Hey, everybody's recovery is different, and like I was gonna try that EMDR. Have you heard of that?
the
I can't remember what the name of it is. It's like,
I think they have one of those meetings at my wife's church.
well, no, because it's separate. Because it's like lights, and you have to do this, and it brings back like
Oh, the brain entrainment.
something like that. But it will take like this folder over here and bring it over here. So like, say if somebody was going through court and had to testify against an abuser,
Yeah.
they wouldn't do the EMDR on you because, and I don't know how to explain it very well, because you kind of like, you take it from this part of your brain and you put it over here and put it in a filing cabinet so it's not so vivid in your mind.
Yeah.
And so I tried to do that.
Didn't work.
No, I had a counselor sitting there that I met once, and he's sitting there like, knee to knee with me, want me to close my eyes and do this. And I'm just like, is he looking at me? This is kind of crazy.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
It was, but I won't do that. That's one thing I won't do because I've got things that I haven't brought up, and it doesn't bother me, and it hasn't made me relapse. So I don't want to bring it up in an EMDR session. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so.
I mean, obviously, you found what's worked for you so far.
Yeah.
And with the things that you've had happen and you're still sitting here,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really impressive.
Well, thank you.
It really is. Like, I always said one of my parents passing away was going to be it.
Yeah.
And, when my mom got sick,
Yeah.
I found out 2 days before I did that one.
I know.
I feel so, I need to do a makeup. I feel so bad because here's all these people wanting to hear some strength, experience, of hope, and I'm just like, fuck all your feelings, listen to me about mine.
But you did, you touched a lot of people.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, okay.
So even though you think, like my daughter, I had to put her in the hospital one time, and it took me all night, and they chose me to do this picnic, right?
Yeah.
100 people. I haven't slept. And I'm up there talking crazy. I mean, I was not even making any kind of sense to myself. And, like squirrels going this way and squirrels going the other way. And I got off and I'm like, I don't even know what I said. And it probably was terrible. And it wasn't. No, you did great.
Really?
You did
I
great.
felt
You were
so
raw. You
Yeah.
were raw. And that's what sometimes we need
And
to
I
hear.
needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that day. And
Yeah.
well, to answer your question, like couldn't have been going better. Like they gave her 3 months and she's been here over a year.
Really?
The chemo between the doctor at Duke and the doctor Prochaska here, they've teamed up. Like she does pills, chemo, and then once a month, I think. I'm such a bad son. Not only do I not know my parents' exact age, I don't know how many. I know it was every day, then it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then it was every other week, and now I think it's 1 week a month that she does the IV chemo. She's going to be doing it the rest of her life.
Yeah.
But she's more sprightly now. I mean, she's still like, she hasn't walked in a long time. But like you ask her a question, she's right there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, her and like my daughter and my dad are so close.
That's awesome.
Like, and we're so lucky. And I know one day I'm not going to have them to just throw my daughter at.
Yeah.
Like, and like tonight. Like, I wanted you to meet her.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Kelly's going to be there. I shouldn't have sent her over there. I'm like, oh, but she's going to be in bed by 7:45 anyway.
Yeah.
And she needs to spend as much time with grandma and papa as she can.
Yeah.
But she's doing good. And it's, I was just thinking about that picnic the other day because I was thinking about things after Meredith was asking me and telling me about how she went through the steps and regrets and things. And that brings me to, I think, my final question of one thing I had when I was drinking was no patience, anger. I would swing on somebody without asking any questions or finding out the facts. I haven't done that in a long time. Although the other day I was like, I just need to go out and knock the fuck out of somebody. I didn't, because I have an amazing woman who's like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then having I feel regret over the littlest things and guilt over the littlest things, and they spiral me down into oppression. It's gotten better because I learned a lot more coping skills, reading like different books, and honestly just talking my ear off to my wife, who I'm sure is her therapist is getting rich off of my venting to my wife. But it's I think that's left over, the only part of me from when I drank and when I used. And like, do you have any characteristics that have stuck with you afterwards where you're like, oh shit, there's old Kelly right there?
So I can get a little crazy. You know, so yeah. No, so I was, I'll rather hit you than have a conversation with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And going through the steps and really learning what my character defects were and why I'm feeling that way I am has really slowed me down. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's been times that I have really wanted to knock somebody out, but I'm like, that's your business. It is not mine. It's not affecting me. I'm out. You know? So that, and I don't really have any regrets. The only regret I do have is that my great grandparents kind of helped raise me, and you know, because my dad wasn't really around, and so my mom was a single mom, so they took me when mom was working, and they didn't get to see me sober. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's my only regret, really.
Yeah.
You can't live in the past. You can't live in the past, and you can't, you know, or feel guilty about something. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you're living and you're doing right, the next right thing, you're good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel.
Right.
That's how I feel. I mean.
So what do you do if you have a moment to where you go to be like, oh shit, Crazy Kelly's about to come up?
Okay, so I let Crazy Kelly come up in the beginning of me and my husband's relationship, because, you know, he was still doing silly stuff, and and I mean, I got really angry, and my temper came out, and it wasn't until it was about the third time that I absolutely lost my shit, and and I stopped, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, you know better than this.
Yeah.
Really. And I had to pull it back. And ever since then, which was, you know, almost 3 years ago, so like 3 years after meeting, we have not even gotten into one argument.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't play into it.
Right.
And so if I'm not playing into it, There's no arguing it, and he's very grateful, and he's the best.
Right.
He's awesome.
He also learned his lesson to not piss off Kelly. No, I'm just
Yeah,
like,
he was like, that was kind of a turn on afterwards. You know what I mean?
yeah. So
And
now
I'm
it's
like,
just enough to send it there, and then it's all right.
It's like, when I was thinking about it, that was kind of and I said, I just was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna let you make me feel that way again. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it, and I can't control it. But honestly, like, we're two peas in a pod. I mean, I'm a little bit older than him, but like, we are, and he is a good family man. Like, who would have thought? You know what I'm saying? And he's just changed his whole world, and you know, for me and my daughter, and he stepped up, and so.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it also, when it comes to everything you just said, I'm glad that he's all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling it probably took a good woman to make him turn that and be like, yo, I want that right there. I want that to be my everything.
Yeah.
And that's dope.
Yeah, it is.
You know? I mean, I was a year in when I met Robin, and like I knew, I mean, we haven't been really apart since the day we met.
Yeah, same.
And I met her on Plenty of Fish.
I tried that. Not that, but.
Sectionated dating apps. It's, man. And we met, talked for 2 weeks. I played hooky from work after lunch. Almost got fired. And then, like, we were together, and now I've got, there's just so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of have to, like, not think about it all at once. Like, between mom having a year of extra life and knowing her granddaughter more, and meeting and having this wonderful life with Robin, getting to be a stepdad to two great teenagers. I mean, me and the oldest he's the oldest. He remembers mom and dad together.
Right.
So, of course, you know.
But how awesome is that?
It's great.
That you're able to step up, be a dad, a husband, and a stepdad, teenagers.
I never once thought any of it, Kelly.
No.
I thought, like, I was like, you know, I doubt I'll be clean forever. I'm sure one day I'll, like, play video games, start taking bong hits, and I'll just won't drink anymore. Because I knew once I saw what I did to my life and what it did to my family after they found out, I'm like, never, I can't. Like, even to this day, like, I'm never ever going to say ever, because that's complacency and that's the devil.
Right.
I can't see it right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure you can't really see yourself going back there.
I can't, but you know what? I've got today, because who knows? Tomorrow I could wake up and be like, you know what?
Yeah, today's
and I've seen it, and it scares me. Like at the treatment center, people will come in and they'll have 20 years, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened? And they're like, I stopped going to meetings. I stopped doing what I was supposed to. And then I get scared, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't go to meetings all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, and so when I do tell my story, I'm like, I could be right where you're at. You know what I mean? Not you, but the patients.
Yeah. This is going to be horrible. I don't care. This is my pergola, and I'll put on the internet what I want to put on the internet. I set myself. Now, is it a joke? Who knows? I set myself of after Tilly moves out of the house. She meets a good man, woman, whatever, has a family. The boys are all gone, and it's me and Robin sitting on rockers in the yard. And they're like, doctor's like, yo, you got this. You probably got this much left.
Yeah.
You know, most people be like, I got to go out and travel and live and all that. And I'm like, I just kind of want to sit my old ass in a recliner with some scotch and tell kids to get off my lawn.
Yeah.
At that point, you know, so I'm like 70 years old.
Yeah.
70 years old. And then my dad told my dad that, and he's like, you know, like most men live to be like 90.
Yeah.
Is that really
so
how you want to
be that mean?
Yeah.
Cirrhosis of the liver.
No, it's probably not going to happen. I think it's funny to tell my family that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm like, cool, just wait. Hope you're around when I'm 70 because Rain Train's coming back, baby.
Right. I'm so far removed from like selling drugs and being that person that it's like a movie.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Like that whole time was a movie. Like that wasn't me. I don't even think I could go back to being that, you know? I like my life. I like helping other people and, you know, and
You're great at it.
you know, I mean, I wouldn't, everybody has their higher power, but like, thank God for God, you know, for me, because that's a big part of my recovery. And it took a while to befriend him, if that's what you want to say.
Oh, no,
because I was mad, you know what I mean? And my sponsor was like, you know what, just say thank you for waking you up in the morning and, you know, and being sober and thank him at night. And so it turned into this relationship. But then I was able to see like God was doing for me, or my higher power was doing for me what I couldn't do for myself in the first 15 months of my sobriety, because it was hard.
Yeah.
It was not easy, to say the least. I called my sponsor every day and said I want to get high every day for 15 months. And then I forgot to call her. It was like 11 o'clock and I jumped up and I called her and she's like, please tell me you didn't get high. And I'm like, no, but I don't want to get high. So like I try to tell people, hang in there.
Yeah.
Because seriously, I want to get high for the first 15 months. And again, I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for my kids. So that might be why, you know, but.
Yeah. I'm grateful that the time that I decided to go to rehab, and then the people I met like you, and the people I met in rehab, like Michelle, and even though I'm not around all the time, like I know everybody's right there.
Yeah.
And you know, I hope they know I'm right here. Like I will jump up and drop everything for somebody. It's nice. I feel lucky and blessed to have the path that I have had. Wilmington Treatment Center was great to me. Then going, like, Tony was amazing for me. I mean, we butted heads like a motherfucker, but he was amazing for me.
Yeah.
He was right about everything. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like when I was just like, I dated somebody when I shouldn't have. And then I was like, yeah, she was crying. And I was just sitting in the passenger seat. He was like, what a dick move. And I'm like, you weren't there. He goes, doesn't matter. I left. I'm like, God, he's fucking right. Like,
I had him sponsor me for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, so I could sponsor Michelle.
Yeah.
And there just was no like strong women at this time that they could find.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, well, let's do this. But
Tony, I'm going to get you on here, boo.
Yeah, I'll drive him here for you.
I would love, I will go to him and set up in his office. Like, it's just this. Like, I can travel.
He was excited about it.
Good.
So he was excited about it. And I love him. And, like, he's definitely co-parented with me. I keep moving that. Is that bad?
No, you're fine.
I co-parent with him. I always go in there and I run by, like, am I being mean? He's like, no.
No,
I'm like,
okay. Tough love.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I call him my co-parent.
Yeah, I'm still friends with a lot of people from my IOP.
That's good.
And it was so funny. We were talking about one person earlier, and their spouse was in IOP with me. And then I ran into them one day, and then, like, we're all still...
Yeah, that's good.
You know, like, there's so many... I just saw somebody in Food Line the other day. She has 2 kids.
Nice.
Been clean the whole time. I'm like, what have you been doing? And she was like, nothing. I was just kind of done.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's
are you
good.
doing anything maintenance? She was like, yeah, parenting.
Yeah.
She's like, it's all I care about.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, hey, just show your face around. Sometimes she was like, yeah, probably not. Good seeing you though.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
I just want to clarify because, you know, I did do maintenance for the first year.
Yeah.
You know, I had to with Lace. I was pregnant.
Right.
And so I'm not against it.
Right.
But you need to have a plan. You know what I mean? Like now they got Suboxone. They didn't have Suboxone when I was clean. It was methadone. And you go to the methadone clinic and you'd be high as a kite when you left. You know what I mean? And Suboxone is a little different. But I you know, it helped me to get into the routine of life and find, you know, drug-free friends and stuff like that. And so, but you got to have a plan to come off of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I don't know anything.
That's huge.
Well, I did
kinda,
from what Jackie told me.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to put it out there because some people are completely against it.
Right.
And like I used it twice before so I could smoke all the crack I wanted because I did end up with a dope habit.
Right.
And then when I got pregnant and I had to go on maintenance, I was like, I am getting off of this as soon as I can. And
Right.
so I did. And it was tough and it was, but to be on it forever is.
Yeah, no, you do have to have a plan.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready, I
Yeah.
think, with just like anything else.
Yeah.
I like how I appreciate on how much you've told me tonight. And this is by far my favorite episode so far because I don't even know if you know it. It takes a lot. But these old greens right here are tearing up on how much it meant to me that you came over and did this.
Oh.
2, how much you shared with me and these broke ass iPhones.
I love it.
that are sitting here. And I really think it's going to help people that could watch, will watch too. And I appreciate it.
Well, I'm super proud of you for doing this.
Thank you.
And anytime I've asked you to do anything, you right there. So.
And I always will be.
I was like, I got to do this.
You made my day. We made my day.
I appreciate it.